Hello and welcome to some thoughts, a little bit of discussion, maybe some analysis, something to just wrap up my feelings for the announcement trailer for the ReMind DLC. I was kind of waiting until E3 was over just to see if we got any more news. So now that we're here, going into it, while the hype for E3 was ramping up, I feel like everyone was coming out with theories of what the ReMind DLC is about. Could it be about Xehanort? Could it be about Luxord or Lushord? Pokemon Shield and Lushord. Could it be more about Xigbar? And I was sitting here going, you fools, you imbeciles, this is Xion's DLC. Nomura had an interview where he was like, yeah, I'm gonna go do a DLC about Xion getting into the organization again. ReMind, remember, this is Xion's DLC. It's gonna be about Xion. And that was my mantra going into it, 'cause, like, don't hope for Kyrie, don't do that to yourself. This is gonna be Xion's DLC, it's gonna be about Xion, that's gonna be cool. Xion, get hyped for Xion, and it'll be fine. We'll go see Xion, and it'll be good. And then she's not even in it, like, what the fuck? But thinking about it, I think that's probably a good thing. If the main part of ReMind is going to be about Xion, I'm glad that they are not showing her in this trailer and holding her close to their chest, you know, not showing us all of their cards just yet. Because that, I think, was one of the biggest detriments of 0.2. That entire experience being, what, only like a 4-hour playthrough, and it had like 4 trailers. And playing through that for the first time, I was a little disappointed because there wasn't a single area that I hadn't already seen in a trailer. And that was a little disappointing. So if the bulk of the DLC is going to be about Xion, I'm kind of glad that we didn't see her like at all. Even with it just not being voice acted, to not see anything like. It probably is the Master of Masters in the beginning there, but it could also be Xigbar. So I think that leaving that question open until the actual DLC comes out, I think will be really fun. Because of that, I kind of hope that this is the only trailer that we see before it comes out. I don't want anything else to really be spoiled, and if anything does come out, I might not tune in. The next big part of this is the playable characters, and Playable Riku. Ooh, I sleep. I slept when he was playable in the main title, and I sleep now. Oh gosh, that sounds so ungrateful, and I'm super glad. I'm super glad that they are, you know, like putting in the effort to give us a different perspective, to make these other characters playable for these ending fight scenes. I think that's super cool to do. They don't have to do that, and I can't wait to see it. And I also, like, can't wait to see how they're going to implement it. Like, other people have already pointed out that just based on who's in your party, with Riku, Sora's there, and with Aqua, it's just Ven. So those two could be completely canon to the story. And it, like, when you're Aqua, you're just fighting Vanitas and Terranort before Sora gets there. And when you're playing as Riku, you can, when the fight comes up, you can just choose. Or maybe he's like a triangle summon again, like he was in the Realm of Darkness. So you're fighting it solo as Riku for a little while, and then Sora jumps in. But of course, with Roxas, Axel's in the party for some reason. So I think it'll be super cool, and I'm super excited to see how they're going to implement that, if it is like baked into the story or just bonus content, solidly just bonus content, solidly just fan service, and fan service in the best way. And that is super cool. And I'm excited to see what they're doing with the story. Because of some of the interviews that Nomura has had, he kind of seems to be not really satisfied with the way that the Keyblade Graveyard turned out as it stands right now. So it kind of looks like he's adding these extra scenes, or adding this DLC to kind of at least change their perspective on some things. But this begs the question of, is he actually going to, like, actually change the scenes themselves? That, I think, I'm really excited to see. Because we've had scenes that have elaborated on a situation, mostly by retconning them. but they've never actually changed the scene itself to be something completely different. If that is the case, Mr. Nomura-san, can you please fix Kairi's death scene? I beg of you. I don't care if that opens up a whole can of worms of anything canon could be written away in just whenever he wants to. That scene is so bad, there is no extra scene that you can add around it to like explain around it. It just needs to be changed. It's that bad. Like, here's the thing. I can deal with Kairi dying. It's just that there was no care put into the death. It had no impact. It happened as if no one actually does give a shit about Kairi. Which is not true, because I do. So, Nomura, if you want any tricks, if you want any tips, you know, on how to make that death fun, my inbox is always open. And, like, so with the playable characters, I feel like just by showing who they showed being playable, I think it's very indicative that they started off with both Riku and Aqua, who were fully playable in the base game. I think they're probably going to make a lot more people playable, and maybe it's just that Roxas is the most polished out of everybody who's newly becoming playable. I mean, I don't know how hard it is to make an AI moveset playable. I would assume it's a little bit easier than just building one from scratch. So yeah, I think it would be a little weird if they just added one extra playable character and called it quits, especially since everybody else, you know, has a Keyblade, is a Guardian of Light, yada yada, are in those fights that they're in. And here's one theory that I have. I mean, obviously, the trailer got leaked, and then the same trailer played again at the E3 conference for Square Enix. So I don't think they had really planned to drop the trailer on the orchestra night. They were probably saving that for the E3 conference. Nomura had said, please don't leak this, or else there will be dire consequences. The consequence might just have been that he was going to say something and elaborate about it at the E3 conference, because he was there for the Final Fantasy VII Remake stuff. So because y'all leaked it, he might have just said, fuck all y'all, I'm not saying shit to you. You are the reason why we can't have nice things. And they even like had a break in the presentation, like right before the Shadowbringers director came on to talk. That could have been like a very easy transition for Nomura to come out and say something. So those are my initial thoughts. I hope you all had like a really great E3. I hope you are excited about some things coming out. I am surely ready for the DLC. I'm excited to see what they expand on, what they give us. And I can't wait for it to be surprising too. And I'm excited to hear people talk about it for a little bit. So if you think I brought up some cool points, maybe you can expand the discussion. Please heed my call to action, please. And we'll see what happens with that DLC. Winter, here I come.